Okay, we're going to use some two-part epoxy.
Welcome back to part 8 of my Dragon Tiger 1 initial build series. If you've been following along, you'll know we've been steadily bringing this model to life, step by step. And today's episode is all about diving into some intricate and rewarding detail work. In this installment, I'll be focusing on attaching the photo-etched bins to the sides of the turret. This is a process that requires both precision and patience, as these pieces not only enhance the realism of the model, but also highlight the unique design features of this early Tiger 1 tank. Once we've secured those photo-etched bins, we'll move on to adding even more fine details to the build, taking care to bring out the historical accuracy and craftsmanship that make this tank such an enduring favorite among modelers. Today's work doesn't stop there. I'll also be tackling some of the tools and smaller elements that are essential to completing the vehicle's exterior. From clamps and brackets to equipment stowage, every piece contributes to the story this model tells. So whether you're here for inspiration, learning tips and techniques, or just enjoying the journey of building a Tiger 1 from the ground up, there's plenty to look forward to in this episode. Let's grab our tools, get these photo etch parts prepped, and carry on with this exciting project. Stick around and let's bring this iconic tank to life together.
All right. All right. So, what's left to do? Well, I got a few tools to put on. I got to put the pot lid on. All right, we got to finish off a few things here. Number one, we got to put this hatch in place. So I'm looking for what we're doing here. Let's see. So we need F4. All right, we got to get this commander hatch done. So that goes there.
The Tiger I's commander's cupola underwent significant changes during its production to address issues of visibility, protection, and battlefield functionality. The first version, seen on initial production models from August 1942 to February 1943, featured a low-profile drum-shaped design.
Is that how it goes, or what?
This early cupola included horizontal vision slits with bulletproof glass inserts, which allowed the commander to observe the battlefield. While effective to a degree, these slits offered a limited field of view, forcing the commander to turn the turret or expose themselves to gain better situational awareness. Additionally, the early drum cupola's armor, while robust for its time, did not fully meet the demands of increasingly powerful Allied weaponry. In February 1943, a taller drum-shaped cupola replaced the earlier version. This new design introduced 6 periscopes, offering improved visibility compared to the fixed horizontal slits. The integration of periscopes allowed the commander a full 360-degree view of the battlefield without exposing themselves to enemy fire. An anti-aircraft MG-34 machine gun mount was also added, reflecting the growing importance of countering Allied air superiority. This iteration of the cupola addressed many of the early issues, significantly advancing the tank commander's effectiveness in combat. The final major redesign came with the late production Tigers beginning in August 1943. This version featured a newly developed commander's cupola equipped with a hatch designed for a scissors periscope. The addition of the periscope further enhanced battlefield observation capabilities, allowing the commander to scan the terrain while remaining fully protected inside the tank. The late production cupola also included thicker armor to better withstand small arms fire and shrapnel. Additionally, a larger one-piece escape hatch simplified emergency egress, a practical improvement driven by battlefield necessity. Throughout the Tiger I service, crews frequently made field modifications to the cupola, often adding extra protection or adapting it to specific combat conditions. Such modifications were especially common on the Eastern Front, where the Tiger faced relentless artillery and anti-tank fire. These evolutionary changes in the cupola design reflect the constant tension between offensive capability and defensive needs, and the realities of mechanized warfare during World War II. The lessons learned from these refinements would go on to influence later German tanks, including the Tiger I and Panther, ensuring that commanders had the tools necessary to survive and fight effectively in the increasingly hostile environment.
All right, I'm gonna take a break from the stressful parts of this build where you have to make handles for things. I'll come back to that after I've had a little bit of a break. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and have some fun. We've got this bucket to make, and we also have the ammo that we can make. So I'll do that. But the first thing I want to do is make these ammo boxes.
The Tiger One's formidable reputation owes much to its iconic main armament, the 88mm KWK 36L/56 gun. This weapon fired the same caliber of ammunition as the feared German 88mm anti-aircraft and anti-tank guns, which had already proven devastating against Allied armor in the early stages of World War II. The 88mm KWK-36 was capable of firing a variety of ammunition types, each tailored to specific battlefield roles. The primary rounds included the Panzergranate 39, a high-velocity armor-piercing shell with a ballistic cap and explosive filler, designed to punch through the enemy tanks and detonate within, maximizing internal damage. Against lighter targets or for long-range precision, the Panzergranate 40 was employed. The shell featured a tungsten core, enabling it to penetrate even the thickest armor, though its effectiveness was somewhat limited by the scarcity of tungsten in wartime Germany. For anti-infantry and soft target engagement, Sprenggranate 39 high explosive round was indispensable. Upon detonation, it unleashed a powerful blast and fragmentation, effective against troops, light fortifications, and vehicles. Rounding out its arsenal was the rare but potent GR39H1 hollow charge shell, capable of penetrating armor regardless of range due to its shaped charge design, though it saw limited use due to the production constraints.
So those two holes have to go to the top because that's where the handle goes. Shoot.
The Tiger One's 88mm gun combined these ammunition types with remarkable accuracy and lethality. At 1,000 meters, the Panzergranate 39 could penetrate over 100 millimeters of armor, while the Panzergranate 40 pushed the capability even further. This firepower meant that in open engagements, the Tiger One could destroy most Allied tanks before they could return fire, a fact that sowed fear and respect among Allied crews. The historical impact of the Tiger One's ammunition could not be overstated. During pivotal battles such as Kursk and Normandy, its shells not only decimated armored spearheads, but also influenced Allied tactics, forcing them to rely heavily on combined arms and air superiority to neutralize the Tiger. In essence, the 88mm ammunition was the soul of the Tiger One's lethality. It combined cutting-edge engineering with destructive potential, perfectly complementing the tank's advanced design. Though limited in number, the Tiger One and its ammunition left a legacy of precision and power that continues to captivate military historians and enthusiasts alike. The Dragon 1 Tiger kit includes a ubiquitous metal pail, a detail often overlooked in tank models, but one that adds a touch of authenticity to the scene. This simple utilitarian bucket was a standard piece of equipment carried by many tanks during World War II. Far from being decorative, it served a range of practical purposes, from holding water for cleaning tools and equipment to carrying oil, grease, and even a makeshift firefighting aid. Now we're heading back to the photo etch to craft a clasp for the bins we've just assembled. This clasp is positioned right in the center of the bin, acting as a secure locking mechanism. Once the clasp is in place, we'll add a small corresponding piece on the top of the lid. This piece will hook neatly into the clasp, completing the functional look of these storage bins. First off, we need to cut the pieces off the photo etch fret. There are 3 pieces that come together to form one clasp. These are quite similar to the clasps used on the on-vehicle tools. I do want to apologize for the quality of the photography here. This was filmed back when I was just starting the channel, and I've made some improvements. Hopefully, we can revisit this process in more detail on another project down the line. I could have soldered this piece on, and maybe next time we'll try that approach. Soldering can provide a more secure connection, but for now we'll go with the 2-part epoxy. It should hold well enough, though there's a chance it could come loose someday. We'll see how it goes, and for this build, epoxy will do the job. Moving on to detailing the storage bins on the Tiger One turret, I'm adding the bolt heads to the securing straps. These photo etch details might be tiny, but they pack a big punch when it comes to realism. For this step, I'm using some black CA glue. A tiny drop is applied to each pre-marked position on the straps. The black CA not only provides a secure bond, but also makes it easy to see where the adhesive has been placed. Using a toothpick that I touch to the tip of my tongue, I grab a nut end, pressing it gently in place. Once all the bolt heads are secured and the glue has cured, I come back with a debonder to clean up any excess glue. This step ensures the straps and bolt heads remain crisp and free of unwanted residue. It's a methodical process, but it leaves a clean, professional finish. With the bolt heads in place, the straps now have that properly bolted down look, adding another layer of realism to the Tiger One. These small touches make a huge difference when the model is painted and weathered later on. Here you can see that I'm using some debonder on a Q-tip to remove the excess glue. So what I think I'm doing here is I've decided to kind of make this a little bit more movable. So I'm drilling a hole so I can put in a little piece of, brass wire or something so that I can move that commander's hatch up and down for whatever reason I would want to do that.
Hmm.
Now I'm applying black CA glue to the photo etch straps. It's not the prettiest work at this stage, gets a bit messy, as these things often do, but don't fret. This is all part of the process. Once it's set, I'll come back with some debonder to clean it all up, leaving just the detail we're after. It's a little like sculpting in reverse. Messy beginnings, refined endings. Next, we'll tackle gluing part 9 from the photo-etch set onto the turret bin lid. This small but vital detail will snugly fit into the lid clasp, locking everything together and keeping it secure. Precision is key here. Aligning it just right ensures a firm hold and that satisfying snap of functionality. Once it's set, this lid will be as sturdy as the real thing, ready to hold its place on the model like a true workhorse. Some of the black CA here. Put that there. Let me reinforce that glue a little bit. I'm going to make the thing for the axe. So where are those? Okay. So, what do we got? I don't know where I put my glasses again. Here I'm cutting off 3 parts from the photo etch set. These will come together to form the tool clasp. It's a delicate process as these tiny pieces demand patience and precision. I'll apologize now for the quality of the film work. It's not quite where I'd like it to be. Hopefully I'll have a chance to redo this section down the line and give you a clearer view. But for now, let's focus on getting these parts prepped and ready for assembly and get them together so we can put them on the hull. So here what I'm doing is I'm cutting off some of the parts used to hold the axe in place on the hull. These are the brackets where the axe will be secured, keeping it snug and properly stowed. Alongside that, I'll be working with parts designed to hold the shovel in place on the hull. These small details really bring the exterior to life, adding the extra layer of realism to the build. Let's get these prepped and ready to go.
So now we're gonna do the shovel, number 50B. So here I'm working on the photo-etch half shell for the shovel head, a fiddly little piece that tested my patience more than a bit. I'll admit, I was starting to feel a little frustrated at this point, and I think that's a good spot to wrap up this video for today. But don't worry, be sure to come back next time because we're heading into the exciting part, painting this beast. The tiger's finally gonna get its stripes, and you won't want to miss it. In the meantime and in between time, that's another edition of Jet Scale Models. Y'all come back now, you hear?